Hello, this demo will walk you through the application process in the WebGrants system. I will demonstrate how users can create, edit, and submit applications for DRPT state grant programs. These instructions will focus on three main functions. One, creating and submitting applications for funding, which includes different ways the system allows you to enter data. Two, returning to a saved application. And three, withdrawing an application. So first, I'm going to start off with creating and submitting applications for funding. The first thing you'll want to do is sign into WebGrants. You will then navigate to the Funding Opportunities tab on the left side of the screen. Navigate to the funding opportunity that you will be applying for and click on it. In this example, we will be filling out a Merit Special Programs Demonstration FY25 application. Just a quick note that you can search for funding opportunities using the search box up here on the top right. That will show you what you're searching for there. Or you can also use the columns to filter by title or program area in order to find the funding opportunity you're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and click into the funding opportunity I want to apply for. Once you click into a funding opportunity, you will see a list of all current applications that you or other users in your organization have started for this funding opportunity. This includes applications that are currently being edited or that have been submitted. Note that this is for the FY25 opportunity only. When next year's opportunity is posted, all the applications your organization is working on will appear under that funding opportunity. Below the current application section, you will see funding opportunity details, which includes a description, important dates, contact information for the DRPT program officer, and any relevant links and attachments. To start a new application, click the green button, Start New Application, in the right-hand corner. This will take you to the application creation wizard, and the rest of my instructions will continue on with this new application. But just to briefly touch on continuing an existing application, if you have an existing application you would like to continue with, you can click anywhere on the row of the application you would like to continue working on, and that will take you into your editing application module. We'll cover this in more detail later. Going back to starting a new application from scratch, I'm going to click on Start New Application, and this will bring me into the Application Creation Wizard. Step 1. The first step in the wizard is to create an application title. This is required, as you can tell by the red text with the asterisk next to it. So I'm going to put in a test title. And I'm going to select the primary contact from the drop-down menu. Under this drop-down menu, you will see all users associated with your organization. For this one, I'm going to choose myself as test tester. Then I'm going to go ahead and click the Save Form Information button. I will mention clicking this green Save button many times in this demonstration. This is an important step to be sure all of your work is saved anytime you begin a new application or need to save any edits. I'm going to go ahead and click that. You can see now I'm in the Creation Wizard Step 2. In this Creation Wizard, you can see my title is there, and it's asking me to choose the organization that this application will be associated with. Note that for most users, this will be one organization. But if your user profile is associated with multiple organizations, all of them will show up in the dropdown here. So for this is my organization. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the green button again, Save Form Information. Finally, I'm on step 3 of the application creation wizard. Here you can see I have my title, my organization saved, and then it's asking if I want to choose any additional contacts that I'd like to associate with this application from the drop-down menu. You can see here that this is in black, which means that it's not required. But if I would like to add someone else to this application, I can choose them from this list and it shows up all the users in my organization. If you associate another user with your application, these users will receive alerts via email regarding the application and will automatically be associated with the grant should it be awarded to the applicant. I'm not going to associate anyone with my application for now, so I'm going to go ahead and save the form again. So once you've saved all of your general information, it will take you to the main application screen. This screen is organized similarly for all funding opportunity applications, but may contain different information. For this funding opportunity, the top includes the application status, information about the funding opportunity, the organization name, and a requested project total that will automatically populate later in the application process. Below, there are a series of tabs, including application preview, attachments, alert history, and map. The only one you will need to pay attention to is the application preview tab. In the application preview tab, the system will default by stating application cannot be submitted currently with a red background. That's because your components are not yet completed. So below that statement there, you can see all the relevant components listed out. In order to be able to submit an application, all of these component forms will need to be completed and marked as complete with a green check. General information will always be complete at this stage, as that's the first section that we've just filled out. And once again, just noting that specific funding opportunities will all have their own specific component forms to fill out, but they'll be organized and appear in a similar manner as here. So in order to move on with your application, you'll want to click into the next component field and fill out all the mandatory information. So I'm going to click on Project Information Demonstration Program. That's my next tab. And here I can see that the first time I'm opening this component, most data fields will be ready for editing. So you'll want to fill out any questions and fields provided in the form. And as I stated before, all mandatory questions will appear in red with an asterisk. After you've filled out the information, you want to click the green Save Form button. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out some test information just so we can see how this will look once I've saved it. Got some sample attachments. You can see how many characters I have left in each test box. And I'm going to go ahead and attach these files as well. See, I can select the file, use it from my list, and it will accept Excel files, docs, and PDFs. I'm going to go ahead and put myself as the project manager. Now I can see all the information on this section is filled out, and I'm going to click Save Form. So now I can see the information I just entered. To edit any of the saved information in the future, you'll want to click the green button again, Edit Form. I'm just going to click into that so you can see once I click Edit, it just takes me right back to the same module I was in. And then I can go back, and if I need to change or update this file, I can remove it and select a new file. And then I'm going to save form again. So once all the mandatory information is entered, then that's when this Mark as Complete button will appear. The Mark as Complete button is another really important step for saving your work. Once you mark as complete, you can still edit the form. However, Only if the form is marked as complete can you ultimately submit the application. So WebGrants will not allow you to mark a form as complete until all the mandatory fields are populated, and will not allow you to submit an application until you have clicked Mark as complete for all mandatory fields. You can use this feature as a tool with your staff if you have multiple people editing your application. If you all agree to only mark as complete once the section is completely finished and vetted by any reviewers, that can be a helpful way to let people know that that section doesn't need to be worked on anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Mark as complete. And you can see now that the section I was working on has a green check mark because I've completed all the mandatory information and I've marked it as complete. Once the information has been saved, the format of the application will appear different. All application components will be listed in blue as tabs across the top of the application. And if you click on App List, the system will take you back to the main application screen. So you can see here that the section I was working on is complete because it has the green check mark under the complete, and I had marked it as complete after I filled out all the mandatory information. After this, you'll want to click into each of the components and complete all the required fields in the component forms. This will be different for each funding opportunity and for each component within each funding opportunity. And these component sections can consist of multiple different kinds of data collection forms, including drop-down menus, open-ended responses, multi-list tables, grids, and attachment fields. And we'll get into some of those a little bit later on. After you've completed all the component forms, you'll want to complete the budget component form. Click into the budget component form and you'll see two sections, total project cost and application certification. Every funding opportunity will contain this component form. Under total project costs, you will enter the total cost of the project that includes all federal, state, and local funding. Once this is entered, the requested project total will update at the top of the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and click Edit Form, enter my total project cost, save my form, and now I can see that my requested project total has updated to $100,000. A quick note that for the Merit Operating Assistance funding opportunities, you will leave the total project cost at 0. Under the application certification, you'll want to click into Edit Form, add a check to the I certify box, and enter your name and the date in order to certify your application. I'm going to go ahead and click Save Form. And then I'm able to mark all these as complete. In order to submit the completed application, you want to make sure that all the component forms have been filled out and are all marked complete with the green check. To review all the information provided, click the blue button, Preview Application. This will allow you to go through and see all the information you've entered and if there's any last changes that you need to make. I'm going to go back. Finally, you'll want to click on the orange button that says Submit Application. The system will then prompt you with a please confirm message, noting that after submission, you will not be able to edit this document. Click the red button, Submit. This takes you back to your Applications tab on the side. But I just want to quickly note that if you would like to withdraw your application and not submit it for review, you would click the other orange button, Withdraw, which we will come back to in a little more detail later. Once submitted, the application status will change to submitted. I'm going to go ahead and look at this under my funding opportunity. And I can see that my Test West River Hills Transit application is now submitted. To find a submitted application, you can navigate to the Applications tab on the left side of the screen and search for the application of interest. So I can use my search function under Applications and find it that way as well. Submitted applications will be assigned to these submitted status and will be read-only. That concludes the creating and submitting an application section. I'll now move on to grids and multi-lists. I'd like to touch on a few of the different ways the system allows you to enter and save data. Most data collected in WebGrants application is in what we call a single entry module, which are the typical small or large text boxes you see in which you can enter numbers or text. These are characterized by a yellow background, white text boxes, and a green Save Form button in the upper right corner. In addition to these, there are a few unique data entry modules that take a few more steps to update and save. These include grids and multi-lists. Grids look like a table made up of fields in which you enter numbers that add up to a total at the bottom. Multi-lists are made up of multiple rows in which you have to add a new row or entry to the list to populate it. This section outlines how to input, save, and edit information in grids and multi-lists. First, we will go through entering data in a grid. Within an application, when you arrive at a grid module for the first time, or if you're coming back to edit one later on, you'll be able to edit the grid in order to see the data fields that are editable and ready for data entry. So I'm going to click on Edit Grid. And here I can see that under Project Start and Project End, there's a date that needs to be entered in each one. So you will go ahead and populate the grid with the required data. Start date, end date. And you will click on the green button, Save Grid. If you need to return to the grid to add or edit data, you will just need to click on the green button, Edit Grid, to open it up again. So if I want to edit it, I can go ahead and save it again. And I'm not going to mark it as complete yet because I'm going to go ahead to this next section, which is a multi-list. So now we'll cover entering data into a multi-list. Within an application, when you arrive at a multi-list for the first time, no data will be able to be added or edited. In order to add any data, you have to click on the green button that says Add Entry. This will open a separate page with a series of mandatory or optional single entry data fields. You'll want to fill out all the mandatory data fields and click the green button Save Row. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out the mandatory fields, which you can see are red with the asterisk. Got a milestone here that I want to complete this date. I'm going to go ahead and click Save Row. Once you've clicked Save Row, the data entered will populate the first row under the multi-list. So you can see here, I put the milestone and the date, and they show up. And then you'll be able to add as many entries as you need to populate the list. So I can keep adding entries. And saving, and that will populate my multi-list. And then once again, I'm going to go ahead and mark these sections as complete. And I can see that under my schedule, they're now marked as completed. Now I will cover how to return to a saved application, which we briefly saw earlier in the demo. WebGrants allows users to save their progress and return to a draft application at a later point in time. There are two ways to find applications that are underway for your organization, through the Applications tab or through the Funding Opportunities tab. I will cover both. When accessing a saved application through your Applications tab, You will navigate to the Applications tab on the left-hand side of the screen. This will take you to the Current Applications screen. This screen contains all active applications along with their status, ID, stage, title, organization, program area, funding opportunity, and due date. Please note that you can reorder the applications by clicking the column title. Navigate to the application you wish to work on. You can also search for the application if you know the title. Under this, I have two applications with this title, so I can see them both here. And note here that under the status, all applications will have one of three statuses. Editing, which means that applications have been started but not submitted. Submitted, applications that have been submitted and which can no longer be edited. And there's another status called correcting. These are applications that have been submitted, reviewed by DRPT staff, and sent back to the applicant for editing and updates. In order to go into the application you would like to edit, click anywhere in the row in the application that is in editing mode. This will take you to the application's details page. In order to edit your application, you will want to click on the green button in the right-hand corner, Edit Application, and then you can continue working on the grant application from here. When accessing a saved application through the Funding Opportunities tab, you want to navigate to the Funding Opportunities and find the funding opportunity for the application you would like to edit. In this case, I know it's the Special Programs Demonstration Program, but again, I can search for it by name, or I can navigate the title by alphabetical order in order to find it. So in this case, I'm going to click into this funding opportunity. And here, like before, you will see a list of all current applications that you or other users in your organizations have started. To continue an existing application, you'll want to click anywhere on the row of the application you would like to continue working on. Only applications with a status of editing can be edited, and submitted applications will be read-only. So here I'm going to click again into my editing application, go up and click the green button, and I continue editing it from there. Finally, for this demo, I will cover withdrawing an application. Withdrawing an application is a way for your agency to delete any unsubmitted applications in your funding opportunity history. The application must be in editing status in order for you to withdraw it. You cannot withdraw a submitted application yourself. If you would like to withdraw a submitted application, you will need to contact your program manager. To withdraw an unsubmitted application, navigate to your applications under a funding opportunity or by using the Applications tab. Here I've gone to the funding opportunity so I can see all the applications I currently have that are in submitted or editing status. I am choosing an application I used as a test to familiarize myself with WebGrants, but now I want to delete it and start fresh. I'm going to click into the application. I can see here what information I entered in, but then I want to go ahead and go straight to the orange button in the corner labeled Withdraw Application. When I click that button, it gives me the opportunity to make a note as to why it was withdrawn. This is not required, but it can be used to help with internal record keeping. I'm going to say I used this application as a test, and it's no longer needed. Once I click Save, that will withdraw my application. The application shows up here, but once I go back to my list under Funding Opportunities, I can see that it no longer appears. This concludes the WebGrants application demo. As always, if you have any technical challenges or difficulties within the WebGrants system, please feel free to contact your DRPT program manager for assistance or email webgrants@drpt.virginia.gov. Thank you.